So, Davy, what a beautiful place you have here. It's so inspirational, full of nature. I'm hearing bird song, apple trees surround me. Where did it all start and how did it come to be?
I think it always is everything. It starts with an idea, isn't it? An idea of its time. So in the late 90s, a lot of activists were getting proactive. So a lot of our early Ecovillage members were either active in the GM-free protests or the road protests or cooperatives. And we had an idea that we actually need to be standing for what we're for, not what we're against. And so, and permaculture and these ideas were emerging. And we thought, well, what if you could build an eco-village and people could visit that and they could see high performance houses and organic agriculture and all the sort of systems we're going to need for sustainability lived in rather than PowerPoint presentations. So that was the very start of it, is that in 99, the educational charity Sustainable Projects Ireland was founded. We spent the first 2 years just doing presentations and building our base. Not knowing, we had a 4-page sort of manifesto where we're going, and we started to work with permaculture designers and architects, but we weren't looking for land yet, and we were still going to buy a farm and build a new village. And in that first 2 years we really refined our thinking, saw there were so many towns and villages in decline, it'd be better for us to join an existing village and play a part in the rural regeneration. And that's what we did. In 2003, we put a deposit on the 67 acres while we did a community consultation process in the town with the 2 schools. And we looked at the land for a year. Where's the frost pockets? Where's water sitting? So we got a sense of the land before we even started the design process, which we did as a community and architects and permaculture designers. So it's been a long and quite frustratingly slow process. And we've had the economic shock of the the noughties, where we had deposits on every one of the 132 sites. People were ready to move, and then the bottom fell out of the economy, so we couldn't. People were in negative equity. They had to leave the project. We lost 60% of our members. We lost our value of our sites. We lost the staff in our office, and we're only really recovering from that. And then we can't develop any sites or bring new people in because of the wastewater issue. So we've had so many constraints outside our own control.
Okay. What's really fascinating about the site here in Cloughjordan is the amount of sustainability features that you've embedded into the design. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that and why that was important?
Yeah. Well, I think when you're looking at neighborhoods, they're built and designed around a car. So you've got wide roads with clear sight lines. You've got 2.5 parking spots per person. You've got fences and walls, and you probably take away nature. We wanted to be in nature, so you can see that we're embedded the landscape. So we have what we call edible landscapes around the house, which can create that sense of privacy, but also a wildlife corridor, and is feeding pollinator plants or ourselves with fruit or these sort of things. So these are some features. The features that are easy to see is the high performance of the homes, which when we started was quite a relatively new thing, the building energy rating, where now you've got to build a high performance, well insulated, airtight home. So but that's how you really see the sustainability measures that people would expect, that sort of idea of a high performance ecological building. But it's more the fabric, I think, of the community. So having pathways that go off the road, having plazas. So we've got a community plaza and a community crescent that are designed for human activity. You see that when you go to France or Spain or mainland Europe, the amount of social activity that happens in the plaza, where we put all that away and create antisocial behavior pockets and these sort of things. So I think there's a big opportunity, I think, for designing for people, for neighborhood, for connection to each other, but also to the living world again. And when we started, we kept the big trees in, but it's slowly emerging now as a rewilded or quite a wild community. And having the connection to food, there's a sustainability measure that you don't often see. So we have these edible landscapes, but we also have allotments for every person that wants to grow food, or the research gardens, or there's quite a few food initiatives like the Community Supported Agriculture Project that you join, and twice a week on the main street, there's a distribution point where it's full of veg. But also other little things here, like here's a food example, a community fridge. So this isn't an actual fridge, it's just a community cupboard, if you like. It's but it's full of food. Let's see. Well, hopefully it's full of food now that I've said.
Let's see what's in the fridge.
So this is Bruce's red gardens. He has red research gardens. And what he does is he offers whatever surplus he has here, and you pay what you think it's worth. So it's not a shop, it's more like a farm gate.
An honesty box type.
It's a farm gate stall sort of thing. So there's lots of ways that we as a community can think about food security or growing more food. We'll go around here if you like. And access to food. We also have an online farmers market, which I think is a real enabler of local food economies, which is a digital platform where we have surplus from our own farm, but we have about 20 other farmers, including ones that do meat or bread or eggs and these sort of things. So that happens every week now. Tonight I have to get my order in, and on Thursday here in the centre where you're at, and in Neenah, the bigger town, we have a distribution. The farmers or food producers come an hour before the public and just bring what is sold. Normally a farmer at a farmer's market has to bring, after a busy week, all the produce they have available and just hope it's not going to rain and that people are going to come and buy some of this stuff, or they're taking it home. So this is a completely different way. It makes it much more efficient. You pre-order on the platform, on the online platform.
Very sensible.
And then the producers only need to bring what they've sold, and the eaters, so the consumers, arrive with their bag and just put everything from their box into there. So many routes for stronger local food systems. And I think that's a way into sustainability. We can start to think about local, circular through food. I think there's an opportunity there.
My last question is around the community. So our idea of tiny homes is that people can live in smaller spaces that are designed well with wellness and well-being in mind. How important is community? How important is connection in that?
All I think is, if you were isolated in your tiny house, you're not going to have a good life. I think the good life comes through shared facilities that you might not be able to put in your own house, but if you lived in a cluster of other small home dwellers, you could have shared facilities. The community side is so important. We have an epidemic of loneliness right now that we're not going to solve by living on our own in little houses scattered across the landscape. So they really need to come together. These, the idea of town centre first, or rebuilding our villages and towns with needs new housing or new clusters. And that could be done in smaller units rather than these, what we've had in the last 20 years, eco McMansions or McMansions, massive houses, making it more affordable. But I think the resilience piece, not just the affordable housing, is how do we have a good life and how do we cope with the disruptions that we're facing now together? Now that starts with how we live and bringing ourselves into different housing arrangements, isn't it? It's not gonna... And then the relationships we build to local food producers or farmers that can give us a sense of resilience, to artists, to creativity, to other food businesses. Like on the main street here, there's a bookshop that was started by Ecovillagers. It's an independent bookstore, which is fantastic. But there's also a community cafe, which is a cooperative cafe run by the community, providing jobs and livelihoods for the community. Now they're both closed today on a Tuesday.
That's okay.